Hi guys, welcome to Adam McKola TV. I am Adam. This is the Aftermath Live after Manchester United 0, Everton 4 at Goodison Park. Manchester United utterly embarrassed in the Premier League fixture today. No points for Manchester United. Our fifth away game that we've lost now as well in all competitions. And it's looking pretty bad for Manchester United ever since that night in Paris where our season well and truly peaked. It's all gone downhill apart from a couple of wins against, who was it? Watford and West Ham. If I remember correctly, it's been pretty bad for Manchester United, and today was probably one of the worst performances I've seen in a while. It was really bad. Now, we could lose against Everton quite easily. They're a decent side. They've played some good football. They've beaten Arsenal. They've beaten Chelsea at their home ground this season. So we were always in for a difficult game, but the performance made it much more difficult, and we made Everton look a lot better. Obviously taking nothing away from their performance, but we were gutless. We didn't have a shot on target, I think, until the 85th, 86th minute. We didn't even look like having a shot on target either. Sometimes you cannot have a shot on target because you overplay or because you try and do too much in the final third, but we just didn't even have any pressure in the final third. Every time the ball went up, whether it was to Lukaku, who wasn't winning any of his duels, wasn't trapping the ball, wasn't bringing the ball down to allow others to get into play, whether it was Martial, who just wasn't making the runs, wasn't trying to get into positions to cause danger. He really needs to work on it, and he needs to apply himself every single game. We need this from all of our players, not just Martial, Marcus Rashford as well. Poor again, he's been poor for a while. Today, you just see him, he's trying to do too much. He's trying to, make things happen, but at the end he'll be greedy or he'll lose the ball or whatever. And he was taking free kicks, ballooning him over. And well, I can take him missing free kicks and stuff, but just make the goalkeeper work or something. And it was just frustrating to watch from our front three, and that was when the ball was getting to them, which was very rare. In midfield, Nemanja Matic, poor yet again. It's his first game in a while, first start in a while, and he was poor. It was a big part in play in Sigurdsson's goal, just backing off and giving them freedom. And he took a shot. De Gea could have done better with it. And it's 2-0 to Everton, and pretty much from there it was game over because United never ever looked like getting back into it. Paul Pogba was stringing some decent passes around, but not getting back onto the end of them, and then he was his usual frustrated self. And I feel sorry for Paul Pogba sometimes because I feel he gets a lot of criticism that he doesn't deserve, but when he's performing like this and the whole team's performing like this, he deserves it. And he's one of the players that we've got to look to drag us together. And try and lead by example and pull everyone around you together, improve everybody around you, and we need to see more from him. Players in our team look up to him, and he's someone that should be leading from the front and trying to grab games by the scruff of the neck. In midfield as well, Fred, I can't say the effort wasn't there, but didn't do it today, didn't do it at all. And then further back, I don't even want to talk about the defence anymore. We all know the defensive issues that we've got. We've known about it for a while, the defensive issues that we've got, and we've been crying out for defenders. It was one of the things I agreed with Jose Mourinho on in the summer, that we needed a centre half at the very least. We're obviously light in full back area as well, with Valencia not playing, Young in awful form. We had Delo there and we had Lindelof there. Now Lindelof out of position. Delo, I think, is a great talent. I'm really excited by what he has, but he had an awful game today. Again, he wasn't making his passes connect, and he just wasn't cutting it at all. We already know about Smalling and Jones. I don't think they're good enough at all. They'll have flashes, they'll have times when you think, are they turning it around? But we all know what their level is. And then we go to David De Gea, who's been one of our most reliable players in the post-Sir Alex Ferguson era, no matter who the manager has been, and he's been awful at times this season. And yet again, today there was errors there. So from back to front, it just wasn't good enough from Manchester United today. And we have something to play for. There's no argument that, oh, we're out of the Champions League, we've got nothing to play for now. We want to be in the Champions League next season. And look, the fantastic run that we went on under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got us back into a position where we could have got top four. It was in our own hands. And when Jose Mourinho was sacked in December, no one ever expected us to get to the last 8 of the Champions League. No one ever expected us to even have a sniff of the top 4. So the fact that we got back into that position to be able to, actually have a top 4 spot in our own hands and then to throw it away is highly, highly frustrating. And today's performance just wasn't good enough. I can accept defeats, but I can't accept that. It was embarrassing, it was gutless, it was spineless. And I think the players will know that as well. The manager will know that. And the manager's come out and said, look, I don't think you can blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's dealing with a squad that has been compiled by a hapless board that have had a scattergun approach for the last 6 years. 3 managers that, quite frankly, by the end just, had gone stale at Manchester United. People in my mentions already today talking about Jose Mourinho and all that. Look, he deserved to be sacked. He was right about some things, and I agreed with him at the time about some things. But one thing I always said was that he should have got sacked. But I can see some of the complaints he had as well, which I admitted in the summer. But all these managers, yes, they would have been right to say David Moyes that summer. He would have been right to say the board didn't back him properly, the board didn't act properly. Van Gaal, he's come out and said it. Mourinho's come out and said it. Now, all 3 managers deserve to get sacked for their performance and for their results, but they all have a point. And we have to look at Ed Woodward, the board, in terms of getting players in. But the players that we do have, today that team was more than good enough. More than good enough. So you have to ask what is going on. Because you look at the players, it's a talented bunch. Anthony Martial, we've seen what he can do this season. About a month ago, 2 months ago. Lukaku, we know what he can do. He's back at his old stamping ground. Rashford, we know what he can do. Pogba, we know what he can do. Fred, why did we spend 50 million on him? Matic, I think he's done, to be fair. But we know what these players can do. And you have to ask what the hell's going on. If they want to be at Manchester United and they want to raise their levels and they want to rise to the demands of the club, then by all means, get your head down, work hard. We've got work to do. This summer's a massive summer, not only for the playing staff, because players are fighting for their futures, not only for the managing staff, because Trevor said it in fan cams as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got a huge job on his hands, and if he doesn't get it right within the first 12 months, he could be looking at losing his job as well. So you're looking at the player, the managers, the board's got the biggest job. You need to act correctly. Now look, they spend money. They spend a lot of money, granted, but it's the way you spend that money. Apparently we've got, the most scouts in the Premier League or something. What the hell are they doing? You look around and you think, what is going on at the club? And it's from top down. There needs to be a change of attitude. There needs to be a change of direction. There needs to be a change at the club. And then only then a manager will come in and be successful. We hope that will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, again, coming out and saying, I'm going to be a success here, whether some of these players are or aren't. And again, I like to hear those kind of challenges to the team. But there's only so much the manager can say. They've got to go out and do it on the pitch. We're running out of time this season. We've got 3 home games, 1 away game left. We haven't got many games left this season. 2 of the home games that we've got, City and Chelsea, difficult games. So you're looking at all that and you're thinking the season could end really badly. It could get worse. But some of these players need to prove that they want to be here. And you would have hoped they would have done that in the last week or 2. But you have to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer time. You can't judge him until he's been able to spend money. Because, as we said, this squad isn't his. He might like some of the players, he might want to keep some of the players, but generally speaking, it's not his squad. He hasn't had time to drill him, coach him, all that stuff. Get a pre-season behind him. So we can't rush to judge Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yet. No matter whether we think it was the right decision to announce it during the campaign or we should have waited or whatever, we can't blame him for this at this moment in time. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the way things are at the moment. Let me know what you're thinking. Get your comments in. Pito says hit the like button. Yes, guys, get hitting that like button. Desperately need a director of football, says Sayesh. That's something that's been spoken about a lot. Zolcrew says all the players let us, the fans, down completely. Alex says what was Matic doing on Sigurdsson's goal? Frustrating as well because all the goals came from like you look at the first goal, could have been cleared. The low, you're hoping he can get his head on it. If he gets kicked, it's a foul. So stick your head low and get kicked, do you know what I mean? It's a foul, then the referee's going to give it for dangerous play. Smalling, I think it was, or Jones, one of the two, could have headed it out before it got to Delo and before it got to Richarlison. The second goal, Matic, we've got to close down better. De Gea, should you be covering that post? The third goal, fantastic strike by Digne, to be fair, but yeah, defensively we could have probably done better in clearing our lines. And the fourth goal, I can't even remember what was that. Theo Walcott. It's just like, fuck's sake, the game was done from there, and it could have been worse as well, which is the frustrating thing. Looking at your comments to see what's going on in there. We need to get rid of a few players in the summer. I think a lot of people are saying that in the comments. We've got 300 people watching at the moment. Get hitting that like button on the video, and of course subscribing to the channel as well. I'm going to be doing the weekly United tomorrow, so make sure you keep it locked for that as well. Who do you want to see signed, or what positions do you think we need to sign players in the summer? Do you guys want to see a director of football come in first? What are your thoughts on all of that? Jack says, who do you think we should sign in the summer? To me, I wouldn't mind seeing someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka come in. We definitely need a centre half. Whoever that is, I'm not too sure. Could be at Ole Gunnar. He'd be available still for 25 million. That experience, but is he the player we want? Is it the player Ollie wants? I'm not sure. We need a central midfielder. Will we need two? Obviously, Herrera looking likely that he's off. Matic, what's going to happen with him? What's going to happen with Fred? So it depends on who's leaving as well. I think Ollie will promote a few players. I can see Twanzebe coming back and being allowed to be a part of the squad. I can see that happening, but it depends who goes as well. I think we should get Alexis Sanchez off the wage bill and potentially let him go in the summer, but it's going to be difficult to do that. We need to get some of the players out of there so that we can rebalance our wage bill, bring players in. We need to get other players gone as well. That's why it's a massive summer, a massive summer. Thankfully, there's no international tournament, but our club will somehow find excuses like they do every single summer in terms of buying players. So, yeah, man, it's disappointing today. And now we go up against Manchester City, who are looking to try and win a title. We've got to get points for top four. I remember people were saying, "Oh, I wouldn't mind if we didn't win that game, so City can win the league and Liverpool don't." If we play like that, we wouldn't need to give up any points to take them off us quite easily, which says a lot in itself, unfortunately. Should we cut our losses with Pogba and Marshall, says Gary? No, I don't think so. There's a lot of other players that should be ahead of them lot in terms of leaving. Reggie says, gave all the power to Pogba. Should have been gone the day he questioned Jose. Jose Mourinho deserved the sack, mate, whether you like it or not. Glad he's gone. Thank God he's gone. Stop trying to use his bad form as an excuse for why he should have stayed. He deserved the sack. He deserved it. He wouldn't have even been in with a sniff of top 4 if he stayed around. So let's just forget about him. Although some issues do remain. People like to think I always said, oh, Jose's the only problem at Manchester United, get him gone and we'll win the league and all that. I never ever said that. And that's why it's vital the board get it right this summer. And I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. Anyway, guys, this has been the Aftermath Live. Make sure you keep it locked to Adam McKola TV. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. For now, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for getting your thoughts and your questions involved. Be back with the Weekly United tomorrow. Keep it locked for that. For now, I'm gone.